Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another Blu-ray update. So this one is a set of sci-fi movies that I kind of feel cross over into the sci-fi horror genre, basically because they're very violent and very gory, at least the first one is, and they involve giant monster bugs. What am I talking about? What else could it be? Starship Troopers. Yeah, lots of Starship Troopers. Today on the Multimedia Chronicles. Welcome back. So, I had this set a while back, the Starship Troopers trilogy, and then sold it. And then it was really expensive for a while, so I didn't get it again. And, well, it went down in price again recently, so I thought, hey, I'm gonna get it again. So I got it again. And that's really the whole story. But anyway, I always loved the original Starship Troopers. I've only seen the sequels once. I remember the second one feeling kind of like a TV movie, but an R-rated TV movie, and I remember liking the third one more than the second one because Casper Van Dien was back as Johnny Rico. So, yeah, anyway, glad to have the trilogy back in the collection. Let's take a little closer look and see what goodies are in it. Okay, the Starship Troopers trilogy, or La Patrollers de l'Espace, La Trilogie. I love the Patrollers of Space trilogy. Patrollers of Space is awesome. Anyway, so here we go. Yeah, the I think they had the U.S. release, which doesn't have the French on it, but it was a little more expensive, as I recall. So anyway, we'll just slide them out here, and this is just a fairly standard box. It's nothing to write home about. It's just a nice, convenient way to get all three of them together. It is cheaper doing it this way than getting them all individually. So let's just start with the first one here. So we got Starship Troopers. I think this actually got a 4K release recently. This is one I might actually consider upgrading because it's such a personal favorite. This one has quite a ton of extras on it. I think it's the same collection of stuff. Oh no, there's actually more. But all this stuff down here was on the old special edition DVD, which I used to have. And it's quite a wealth of behind-the-scenes stuff. You actually get to see Paul Verhoeven directing, like a lot of on-set stuff as well, which is really cool. I love seeing stuff like that. And then we got a whole bunch of new stuff that was added for the Blu-ray release, which is pretty cool. But if we just open this up, I'm going to punch the little thing down there. There we go. So we got that. There's actually some artwork underneath. Let's just take a little look here. Oh, Blu-ray disc. Experience more with Blue. Wow. Okay, you can tell this is an old release when they're just hyping up the amazingness of Blu-ray. Beyond high definition. Yeah. No, it's just high definition. It's not beyond high definition. What are you talking about? Okay, actually this one just says experience high definition. Oh, that sounds exciting. I'd like to try that high definition of which you speak. And then we have Starship Troopers 2, Hero of the Federation. There we go. Yeah, as I say, I don't really remember much about this one. I remember seeing it and thinking it felt kind of cheap. Oh, written by Ed Neumeyer, writer of the original, and directed by Phil Tippett. Again, a RoboCop guy. Phil Tippett did all the stop-motion animation for Ed 209 in RoboCop. So this is actually his, I think this is a directorial debut, actually. So Starship Troopers 2, and we're going to clip that down because I don't like the thing. And then if we take a little look here, There we go. Got some bugs there. So yeah, I guess Phil Tippett worked on the effects for the first one as well. So it really was the full RoboCop team doing it. It's pretty crazy. Next we have, oh, look at this. High definition movies. Get the ultimate high definition experience with Blu-ray disc. Oh, look at that. With HDNA. What the hell is that? High definition. It's in our DNA. Seriously? Okay. Can we be any more cheesy in promoting high definition? And I got two of them. I got two of those in the... are they both the same? Yeah, they're both the same. What is this even from? Oh, that's from Resident Evil Extinction. Cool. I have that in Steelbook. Alright, and then finally we have Starship Troopers 3, Marauder. And hey, look, Johnny Rico's back. Awesome. Open it up. Oh, look at that. Nice big mech. Yeah, very cool. I think over the course of the movies, they slowly introduced some more stuff from the books. I know actually in the animated series, Roughnecks, the Starship Troopers Chronicles, they did a little bit more from the books, as well as expanding on the story, obviously, to make it into a full series. But in particular, they had these drop suits. So they would be sealed in a suit when they were dropped from the drop ships, when they're landing on a planet. And they had those in the show, but they didn't have them in the movie. And for some reason, this stupid thing doesn't want to stay down. If I can just get it down long enough to close it, I can kind of pin it in place. There we go. Okay, we got it. All right. So, let's put them all back together. So there's the Trilogy. Slide it on into the box. And there we go. Nice and secure. Ready for battle. And there you go. So just a nice compact little set of the 3 live-action Starship Troopers movies. Now, there's also been a couple of CG movies that have been made in recent years. First up, we have Starship Troopers Invasion. Now, I've not watched this yet. There's another CG movie, which I'll show you in a moment as well. I haven't watched that one either. But I've heard that these ones are actually pretty good, so I'm looking forward to checking them out. So meanwhile, let's take a look at a little closer look at this one and see what it's got. All right. So here's, of course, the first of the CG movies. A fast-paced thrill ride that tops the original. I highly doubt it tops the original, but I've heard it's pretty good. Anyway, looking forward to checking this out. Ultra-violent, splattery fun for Starship Troopers fans. Yeah, so I guess this will have all the violence that they couldn't do in the cartoon, like in the animated series. But here we go. Very nice. R-rated, as it should be. And there we go. Very nice. Oh yeah, this looks good. I'm definitely going to enjoy checking these out. Probably just do a marathon of all of them. And maybe I'll even do reviews of them. But don't ask me when or if or whatever, because I don't know. I just kind of do things when I feel like doing them. Sometimes I never do. At the very least, I'll watch them, and I'm sure I'll enjoy them. And there you go. So that's, I guess we'll just put it there, Starship Troopers Invasion. And then we have the second CG movie, which just came out 3 years ago, 2017. We have Starship Troopers Traitor of Mars. Now this one's kind of a curiosity. We have Casper Van Dien back again to voice Johnny Rico. And we have Dina Meyer back as Dizzy. Didn't she die in the first one? Yeah, so I don't know how this fits into the continuity, or if it even does fit into the continuity. Call it an alternate timeline, I have no idea. But I look forward to seeing it because I love those characters. And it's great to have the original actors back doing the voices. So let's take a little look here and see what goodies we've got on this one. And here we go. The latest chapter in the Starship Troopers saga that apparently retcons, reworks, and reimagines a bunch of stuff. I don't know. I have no idea. But I'm definitely curious about this one. Lots of special features on here as well. No interior artwork. Literally the only one that has no interior artwork. So there we go. Starship Troopers, Traitors, or Traitor of Mars. And there we go. Good stuff. And there you go. So they look like, pretty fun sets. Yeah, so I'm kind of wondering. It says expanding the universe, 20 years and counting. Expanding the universe, continuing the universe. Expanding the universe, Traitor of Mars. So I don't know. Like, are they retconning some stuff here? It's written by Edward Neumeier, who wrote the screenplay for the original. Actually, while I'm on the subject, I should mention one of the things that I love about the original movie is, I've talked before about how much I love the original RoboCop. Well, Starship Troopers, the first one, is almost entirely the same team that made the original RoboCop. So I've always kind of put those two together in my brain because we have a very similar directorial style, because it's Paul Verhoeven again. Very similar script, full of satire and social commentary, because it's written by Edward Neumeier. And we have a wonderful action-packed score by Basil Poledouris, who did the music for the original RoboCop. So it's like the RoboCop team reunited to have lightning in a bottle again. And honestly, I think they knocked it out of the park. I love the first movie. It's like one that I've rewatched countless times over the years. I just watched it with Rosie recently, and she really enjoyed it. It's great stuff. And I just love that it has that same kind of flavor as RoboCop, but more in a high space adventure kind of thing. It's great stuff. Now, I know that it does have some changes from the book. Of course, the book is a little more pro-fascism, whereas the movie is more anti-fascism, so it's kind of interesting in that respect. In the book, Dizzy is actually a guy friend of Johnny Rico's. There's no romantic involvement there. They're just friends. In the movie, Dizzy is female and very much romantically interested in Johnny. So there's a lot of little changes and stuff like that, but I think most people will agree that the movie is probably the more accessible for people, not just because it's a movie, but also because it doesn't have that sort of pro-fascism flavor to it, which, I mean, I don't know, maybe Robert Heinlein was going for a social commentary, presenting a pro-fascist thing to show why fascism is bad, but I don't know. I haven't read the entire book, I will confess. I've only read bits of it, and some sort of online comparisons between the two. I do have the book. I've actually got a really nice old paperback that I picked up a while ago. I think it's an edition from the early 60s, so it's definitely one of the older editions, which is pretty cool. I found it in a local used bookstore. So one of these days I definitely plan to sit down and give it a read, and then maybe my opinion of the movies will change. I don't know. But I always look at movies based on books as adaptations anyway, so I expect them to kind of go in a slightly different direction. I figure if they just get the flavor of the story right, I mean, it's a story about space marines fighting giant bugs. Is that in the movie? Okay, good. We're fine. So, that's that. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to reacquire this is because I've always been a huge fan of the franchise. And in particular, I used to watch Roughnecks, the Starship Troopers Chronicles, all the time. This is not a new acquisition. I've actually had this for a long time. I'm not going to go into big, closer look territory here. I'm just going to kind of give you a quick overlook. So we have the Pluto campaign, the Hydora campaign. This is the order they go in, by the way. The Tophet campaign. The Tesca campaign. The Zephyr campaign. The Klendathu campaign. Trackers, which is a single episode, and this also has 4 clip show episodes on it, which fall into different parts of the continuity, but they just put them all together there. And finally, the Homefront campaign. Yeah, the Starship Troopers animated series was 40 episodes. They meant to have a full, proper 8 5-episode story arcs, but there was kind of a hitch in production in that Sony was trying to rush it out, so the show got rushed, and to fill in the gap, They did some clip shows to give themselves time to finish the other stories. As a result, the clip shows ended up taking up 4 episodes worth of their 40-episode order, so they couldn't actually finish the last story arc. So it ends on a bit of a cliffhanger, but what a ride. This is such a great show. I love it. And I will always enjoy it. It's, the CG's a little bit dated. It is early mocap techniques that were used. But overall, it's still quite good. Like, it was definitely ahead of its time when it came out. And some of the best CG that had ever been done for an animated series at the time really kind of blew the competition out of the water. And it's got just such a great story, and a fantastic soundtrack. God, I love the music in that show. But anyway, love me some Starship Troopers. There, kinda. Anyway, yeah, well, yeah, okay, whatever, we'll just put those there. So, old CG, new CG, there you go. But, yeah, so anyway, I thought it was about time I got these back in the collection and filled in the gaps with the 2 CG movies that I'd never seen before. And, yeah, so I guess really out of all of this, the only things I haven't seen are the 2 CG movies. So I'm going to rewatch the other ones, though, first, because I haven't seen them for a long time. And it was great revisiting the first one and sharing it with Rosie. She enjoyed seeing sort of the mix of practical and CG effects. She's really keen on seeing stuff like that. She's been enjoying a lot of the older horror movies I've been showing her because they're all practical effects, and to her, that's almost more magical because she's then all curious, like, well, how'd they do that? Like, what's that? And it's like, oh, you can tell that's a model, or you can tell that's a fake head, or whatever. But she's just really, gets excited when she sees those old school effects and stuff. So, I've got a lot of that stuff in my collection, so we'll be watching some pretty cool stuff over the course of this Halloween season. Maybe Halloween's over by the time you're seeing this. I don't know when this is being posted, so maybe I shouldn't do time-sensitive comments in the video. I should say also, if you're wondering why I'm doing this as a Halloween update on the Halloween set, much like RoboCop, and much for the same reasons, I've always kind of considered Starship Troopers to be borderline sci-fi horror. I know it's mostly sci-fi action, but I've always thought of it as kind of sci-fi horror because, you have big, ugly aliens, bugs ripping people apart limb from limb. I mean, it's very violent and very gory and, well, quite frankly, kind of horrific in parts. So I've always thought of it as like kind of riding the line between sci-fi action and sci-fi horror a little bit. But of course it does have the satire and the humor to kind of take the edge off. But, lots of big squishy aliens and sharp talons and toothed bugs ripping people from limb to limb and all kinds of other stuff. So I kind of put it in between. So close enough. Happy Halloween. Anyway, that is it from me to you for now. Love me some Starship Troopers, can you tell? And I'll see you next time. So until then, thanks very much for watching. Big thanks to my Patreon sponsors. I'll include Amazon links to as much of this stuff as I can. Starship Troopers Roughnecks is actually all out of print, but I'll see what I can do about finding some links for you. There was also a complete series set. Might do a proper closer look at this. You go a little bit, more in depth at some point. Not sure when, but I think I've got more than enough stuff to do a, hey, look at the Starship Trooper stuff I've got video, which would be kind of fun. I know a lot of you guys enjoy the snapshot of the a particular collection within the collection. So thank you very much to those of you who use my Amazon links. That does really help to support the show and helps me to get stuff like this so I can do videos about them for you. I don't get freebies from the studios. I used to back in the day, but I haven't for a very long time. So everything you see me do in these videos, I've just shelled out for. The Amazon stuff really helps when you guys use my links, because then it goes straight into getting more stuff for the show. Be sure to catch me on Twitch. I stream just about every day, and I'll see you next time. Until then, sayonara.